Hey everyone, Raquel here again with another video, and today I want to talk about some of the biggest fears that I have with Battlefield 5. Even before the game was announced, players had already begun worrying about what the next game in the Battlefield series might hold in store. Needless to say, many players are heavily invested in the Battlefield series as a whole, myself included, and care deeply about the individual games and the experiences that they will bring. Now, to clear up any confusion, I'm super excited about Battlefield 5, the next installment in the Battlefield series. I think this is going to be an amazing game. I am excited about the World War II setting, which I haven't played since 1942, since I never played Battlefield 1943. I think DICE has some interesting changes they are making to gameplay, and I'm really interested by the new game modes, grand operations, and the recently announced Royale mode. This could easily be the best Battlefield in the series. Now, what I wanted to talk about today were some of the largest worries that I have for this game and what might hurt its overall success. First, going overboard with customization. Now, I have no problems at all with customization, and I know that it is a needed way for DICE to be able to make money on their games so that they can continue to provide new content. I'm glad that women are included in the game as well as different races, but I am concerned that the player customization and clothing options might be taken too far. From what I've seen in the reveal trailer and the gameplay that has recently been released from E3, the soldiers that you see don't really show any apparent signs that they are British soldiers fighting in the Arctic cold of northern Norway. Some of the soldiers looked kind of ridiculous, even though I know a lot of these items did exist in World War II and were employed even sparingly by the participating armies. Now, I know that DICE needs to come out with some really awesome customization items in order for it to sell, but I think there are so many cool uniforms and items out there that aren't completely just out in left field. They could even have your company have specific clothing for certain maps, or there might be cold weather and have specific unlocks for these maps, since we will be sure to see plenty more cold weather maps in future content releases, as well as other environments. I just think it will be a little ridiculous to see players running around in sleeveless shirts in one of the coldest places in the world. This is by no means game breaking, but if DICE is going to implement some more outlandish customization, I would enjoy the ability to disable it on the client side. I wouldn't always keep it disabled, but I know a lot of players would like to see this, and I think it would be a very welcome option. Now, let's make things very clear. DICE should not and is not going to disable race and gender customization from the game. What I would like to see is just a removal of customized clothing, but in all honesty, this is on the very low end of my concerns, and I can see the reason why they might not add it at all, because this is how DICE is going to be making their money from the game. My second concern is the viability of the fortification system. In recent videos, we've been able to get a pretty good look at what the fortification system entails, and in all honesty, I can't say that I'm super impressed. Yes, I can see where it can be useful, but I just don't think those instances are going to occur very often. You'll often be better either going and engaging in the action or finding another position that is already fortified. Maybe within grander operations, the system will have a strong use, since the modes seem to revolve around attackers and defenders, with the defenders really being able to use this option. I also just don't see any use in the same game modes for the attackers with the fortification system, rendering an entire piece of a soldier's toolkit useless. It would be neat if on the attacker side you could build forward supply stations or build explosives on buildings and fortifications that will take time to get in place, but that will clear the stronghold out and reduce it to rubble. Number 3 on the list is the pace of gameplay. From the gameplay that we've seen from DICE and popular players in the community, it seems like the pace of gameplay is completely fine. I have not seen anyone be slowed down by the lack of health regeneration or the lack of ammo, especially with the ability to resupply from downed enemies. But the players I have been watching have a lot of experience with the Battlefield franchise, and it seemed like they knew exactly what they were doing. Newer players to the series might get slowed down significantly by having to learn all of these mechanics. They'll definitely be slowed down and daunted by the reduced health regen, but they will also feel the pressure of having restricted ammo in a game that's a steeper learning curve with its aiming system than most other first-person shooters. So while experienced players might not see any huge changes in the pace of their game, I believe that newer players will find things to be much slower as they hunt for ammo and health while trying to figure out how these new systems work. My hope is that DICE either implements a strong tutorial system, carries these mechanics over into single player, or has some sort of firing range where players can not only experiment with weapons and vehicles, but they can also become acquainted with the different game mechanics, including managing their health and ammo. My fourth concern is a lack of content at launch. It has been confirmed that at launch there will only be 2 countries available, Great Britain and Germany. DICE has also said that the game at launch will be focusing on the beginning of the war and the fall of Europe. If this is true, then we will have another 5 years and multiple countries worth of content to fill. But how is the game going to look at launch with such a short time frame and the focus only being on 2 countries? With this new Tides of War system and the somewhat restricted launch compared to past Battlefield games, will we see the same amount of content when the game is released as we've come to expect with other games in the series? It has been rumored that there will be 8 maps at launch, which will be 1 less than what Battlefield 1 has if I remember correctly, and which I'm completely fine with. I believe 8 maps is a good start to the game, especially if we can expect additional maps released within a few months of the game coming out. Now, this brings me to my last concern, which is a lack of content within the Tides of War system. Battlefield 1 failed with its delivery of additional content in a timely manner. We all know this. It took 2 months after the release of the game to get 1 additional map, which was a lackluster map at best, and then another 3 months before the first expansion released. It was not until another 6 months after that we received the second expansion that was due out from the game. Yes, both of these expansions did deliver more maps than what was expected and than what occurred in past games. But it just took so long, and it caused a lot of players to get tired and burnt out with playing the same content over and over. If Battlefield 5 wants to keep a strong player base, and if it wants to survive, especially with the strong competitors in the shooter genre, it absolutely needs to be releasing multiple maps every few months with additional weapons, vehicles, game modes, and other content. This game will not survive with a live service model when it has competitors such as Fortnite delivering new content and patches every week. I'm one of those players that will purchase new skins and other cosmetic items in Battlefield 5, but I will need new content coming out alongside these purchasable options that will keep me excited to continue playing day after day. Now, with EA Play, they have announced that they're going to be releasing new content every day, but we'll see what this content is, and I do believe that DICE can deliver on this promise. I believe that DICE can put out these 2 to 3 new maps every few months. Thanks everyone for watching, and please like or dislike the video, whichever one you want. Leave a comment about what your biggest fears are with Battlefield 5, and be sure to subscribe if you want to be updated when I come out with new videos. Thanks for watching everyone, this is Rakiel, and I'll catch you in the next video.